everyone. It's lovely to welcome you to this second breakout room, second breakout session in our teacher education strand today. I'm delighted to welcome, along with Garen, who's helping us with the chat today, A.Caszadeh from the Middle East Technical University. Ali, welcome to our session today.
Hello, Ben. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
So in just a moment, I'll let you continue with your talk, but I'll just introduce you first for the group we've got with us. So Ali is a senior instructor at the Middle East Technical University. He's an examiner with over 20 years experience, a teacher educator, holds qualifications in English translation and in English language teaching, and is currently undertaking his PhD as well. And an experienced presenter who spoke at the IATEFL Teacher Development Web Carnival last year, and someone who is noted for his innovative teaching methods. So, Ali, it's great to have you with us today. For the people in the room, if you have any questions you'd like to ask, please put them in the Q&A, and I'll be addressing those to Ali at the end of the session. But you should also feel free to use the chat functions. Many of you have been chatting there. Maria, lovely to see you from Macedonia and so many other places. Yorkshire in the north, I'm not sure who the furthest south is. We've had Philippines. Mary, hello in the Philippines. A great selection of people coming. Do use the chat. But I'll be quiet now. And Ali, please, over to you. And we look forward to hearing about how to nurture inclusive teacher education. So
thank you very much, Ben. Thank you for the introduction. Okay, hello everyone. Thank you for joining me today. I'm excited to share with you some insights on empowering teachers through innovative teaching and inclusive pedagogy using a bottom-up approach. So today we'll explore a professional development model that promotes inclusive classroom practice among teachers, focusing on the impact of bottom-up pedagogy techniques, and we'll discuss the principles and benefits of these approaches and share findings from a year-long study and provide some actionable recommendations. So this research examines the value of peer collaboration and individual goal customization, and it reveals how personalized development enhances, let's say, progress toward contextual learning objectives. So these are the things that we'll go through during our session today. So first we'll go through the background and the rationale, and then we will talk about the key concepts. We will have literature review, highlights, methodology and case study, results and discussion, and then we'll have conclusion and recommendations slide. So let's get right into it. Okay, background and rationale. So teacher development programs significantly enhance the quality of education, and traditional professional development programs, as we all know, often take a blanket approach. Let's say they limit their impact on teacher practice and also student learning outcomes. So there has been a growing interest in bottom-up approaches that prioritize teachers' active involvement and empowerment. So bottom-up approaches recognize that teachers possess valuable knowledge and also expertise that can somehow contribute to their own professional growth and improvement of teaching practices. And these approaches foster, let's say, a sense of ownership and encourages, self-reflection, collaboration, and also inquiry, while valuing teachers' perspectives. And by identifying their own goals through professional and meaningful dialogue, let's say, teachers can explore innovative instructional strategies together, and this empowerment leads to sustained improvements in teaching practice, and ultimately it enhances student learning outcomes. Well, as far as the importance of bottom-up approaches is concerned, collaborative learning is integral to bottom-up approaches, where collective, let's say, wisdom and share experience and expertise and, let's say, power support improve instructional practices, and teachers participating in collaborative communities can engage in meaningful discussions and share best practices and collectively problem solve classroom challenges. And an integral aspect of bottom-up professional development is the utilization of inquiry-based methods, which is based on critical thinking and problem solving rather than just facts given to the students in a straightforward way. And these inquiry-based methods involve guiding explorations through, let's say, research questions that help identify and address classroom challenges and areas needing improvement. And teachers are urged to engage in reflective practice by analyzing their teaching methodologies and experimenting with new, let's say, instructional strategies. So, as for the key concepts of bottom-up approaches, we can say, as I just mentioned, they involve guiding explorations through research questions that help identify and address classroom challenges and areas that need improvement. So drawing insight from, let's say, data collected through classroom assessments and evaluations is crucial in this process. So this exploration-based approach nurtures a deeper, let's say, understanding. It nurtures deeper comprehension of effective pedagogy, which leads to informed decisions on enhancing teaching practices, and it promotes ongoing reflection for professional growth. And this perfectly aligns with evolving educational standards and helps in adapting to new teaching methods and technologies. For example, in our study, the teachers who participated in the study, they participated in regular workshops where they discussed specific classroom challenges and collaboratively developed strategies to address those challenges. Then they implemented these strategies and reflected on their effectiveness, the effectiveness of the strategies, which made that more useful, and they made adjustments as needed. So this iterative process helped teachers refine their instructional practices and continuously improve their teaching methods. So inclusive pedagogy aims for classroom inclusiveness, as the name suggests, and it respects diverse backgrounds, and it acknowledges individual differences in communication, preferences, and it promotes collaborative teamwork for differentiated instruction. And by using technology platforms, teaching can support this diverse needs of learners, and the comprehensive techniques create successful results, and they create a welcoming classroom atmosphere where they the students feel secure, every single student feels secure and valued. And inclusive pedagogy also fosters acceptance and equity, which celebrates each student's uniqueness. We should accept that they are unique, and this amplifies their potential for future achievements. And this is achieved through mutually supportive environments that contribute to overall success. For instance, teachers might use assistive technologies such as speech-to-text software, which we use in our study to help students with different abilities access and engage with the curriculum. And they might also implement flexible grouping strategies where students are organized into dynamic groups based on their learning needs, which allows for more tailored instruction in this case. Okay, let's move on to the next part, which is the literature review and highlights. Professional development provides an essential platform to support teacher growth and enhance student academic achievement outcomes. So effective professional development must be customized to meet teachers' requirements and experiences. So Darling, Hammond et al. 2009 highlight this importance of relevance and alignment with the school goals, and it realizes that there are some gains from professional development frameworks, personalized frameworks, and personalized professional, let's say, growth improves motivation levels among teachers, and it enhances classroom practices at the same time, and it results in improved academic attainment among the students. Holloway 2000 found that training educators in differentiated instruction and assessment strategies significantly improves student engagement and academic outcomes across diverse classrooms, and collaborative learning approaches also have proven effective in creating sustained improvement outcomes, and multidisciplinary teams within the schools provide a space for peer-to-peer exchanges, enabling the adoption of better instructional practices. Nieto and Bode in 2017 also argued that allowing educators to actively participate in their ongoing professional growth through social networks increases self-efficacy with minimal intervention from higher management. Harris and Jones, 2010, emphasized the commitment to empowering teachers through team building processes, which improves teaching quality, and it optimizes outcomes that favorably impact students. DeSimone et al. 2006 discovered that bottom-up teacher development programs transform teaching practices through, let's say, collaboration, reflection, inquiry, and self-identified learning needs. And this reflection enabled innovative ideas, which resulted in positive academic performance disparities gained by their student beneficiaries. Also, the last one, Avramidis et al. In 2000 highlight that inclusive pedagogy positively impacts the student learning outcomes, especially for diverse learners and those with special educational needs. And teachers who are better prepared to teach students with special needs are more likely to implement inclusive strategies effectively. So I try to just briefly, let's say, recapitulate and summarize the literature review and its highlights here. And yes, let's go to the methodology and case study part. we conducted a qualitative case study to investigate how adopting and let's say empowering bottom-up approach focused, professional development program impacts teacher development in adopting and also implementing inclusive pedagogy at a language school in Iran. So the data collection methods included pre and post training interviews. There were classroom observations and reflective journals kept by teachers. And there were 6 volunteer teachers in our study. They participated in the year-long training course, which was designed by experienced professionals. And we selected teachers who were voluntarily interested in learning new instructional strategies involving inclusive pedagogy. So our data collection methods provided insights into their experiences, so to speak, and also perceptions and changes in application. So the qualitative nature of the study allowed us to gather rich data on the teacher's professional growth and also the implementation of inclusive pedagogy. So the small sample size enabled us to focus on in-depth exploration rather than just broad coverage. There were only 6 participants, and we ensured, let's say, good understanding of each teacher's journey. So, yes, the study closely observed participating teachers as they translated their learning into classroom practice in real time. So reflective journals, for example, documented their experiences with inclusive pedagogy with the specific context of the language school. So the use of multiple data collection methods, including interviews, class observations, and reflective journals, allowed themes related to implementing inclusive pedagogy to emerge. So measures such as research reflexivity and triangulation methods ensured validity in this study. The small sample size also allowed for some kind of exploration of the teacher's professional growth through practical or hands-on learning opportunities. For example, one of the teachers reflected on the challenges of implementing flexible grouping strategies and how they adapted their approach based on student feedback and classroom observations. And also another teacher documented their experience with using assistive technologies and how it improved student engagement and learning outcomes. So, okay. Okay, let's talk about key findings here. The study's outcomes suggest that adopting an inclusive pedagogy-based bottom-up approach positively impacts teacher growth and the successful implementation of inclusive classroom practices, and participants reported a sense of ownership over their professional growth, which was a remarkable achievement, emerging from adopting such an approach. So facilitated collaborative learning strategies, including joint lesson planning and, let's say, resource sharing, enabled the participants of this study to become cohesive and, let's say, supportive of each other's practices. So teachers reported increased student engagement and participation in the classroom. The use of inclusive pedagogical strategies such as differentiated instruction, as I mentioned earlier, and collaborative learning allowed students to interact with the material in ways that suited their learning. And their styles, let's say. So this led to a more inclusive and supporting learning environment, which in turn resulted in improved academic performance and greater student satisfaction. This study also highlights the importance of studying and understanding each student's unique background when incorporating inclusive practices. So teachers must actively consider diversity regarding cultural nuances or maybe special needs of students. And reflecting on their experiences, teachers express a significant shift in their teaching techniques, considering each learner's individual requirements. For example, one of our instructors mentioned using flexible grouping and multiple assessment opportunities to engage students, let's say, effectively. And these findings suggest that context-specific approaches and sustained engagement programs are essential and critical for enhancing teacher development and student outcomes. Plus, the collaborative environment focused on a sense of unity and camaraderie or friendliness among teachers, resulting in the exchange of ideas, insights, and this, let's say, supportive atmosphere encourage teachers to take risks, calculated risks, so to speak, and try diverse techniques in their classrooms because they knew that they had the chance and the backing of their peers. So, okay, as far as recommendations are concerned, and also let's draw a conclusion. To conclude, a bottom-up method utilizes inclusive pedagogy, and it is an effective means of professional development, and it leads to progressive teacher practices, and in turn improve the student outcomes. So this method emphasizes the significance of context-specific techniques and also collaborative efforts, which are tailored to each educator's, let's say, unique situation. And by actively involving teachers in their professional growth and providing continuous support to them, we can create a more inclusive educational environment. So I recommend implementing bottom-up professional development programs that focus on inquiry-based learning and personalized growth, making a student think out of the box and also think critically and, think about problems and scenarios, not just, facts given to them. And by embracing these strategies, we can support teachers and also we can create more inclusive environments. So schools should provide regular opportunities for teachers to engage in reflective practice and maybe share best practices here. And also they can collaborate on solving classroom challenges together. So integrating technology, for example, can be very helpful in this regard, and providing access to different kinds of resources that support diverse learners can further enhance the effectiveness of such programs. Okay. So now, okay, now I'd like to pose a question to you, dear participants. What are some challenges one might face implementing inclusive pedagogy in their classroom? Please feel free to share your thoughts briefly in the chat box. I'll give you a minute or two to think about this question and its answer, or maybe share some thoughts in the chat box, and then we'll see how we can answer this question. Okay. Okay, interesting points brought up here. Thank you for your insights and input. Okay, now let's see how this question can be answered. Okay, yes, some of you mentioned diverse learning needs. So one of the major challenges in implementing inclusive pedagogy is addressing the diverse learning needs present within a single classroom, as you know. So teachers must be equipped to handle a wide range of abilities and learning styles, as you know. So this requires adapting lesson plans to cater to individual student needs. For example, some students may require more visual aids, or some other students might benefit from hands-on activities, or some students are slow, they need additional time to process information. So implementing differentiated instruction is the key here. But it can be time consuming, yes, that's right. And it requires significant planning in advance. So that is one consideration. The other challenge is resource limitation. So lack of access to necessary technology, for example, can be a challenge, or you might not have assistive tools at hand. So many schools, especially those in underfunded areas, they do not have the budget to provide resources or materials that support inclusive practices. For example, they cannot provide a specialized software for students with disabilities, or they cannot provide additional instructional aids because some of these can, hinder the effectiveness of inclusive pedagogy. So you as educators and instructors need to be creative and resourceful. You need to find ways to, let's say, make do with whatever you have at hand. Also, teacher preparedness is very important. If you want to implement inclusive pedagogy in an effective way, it all hinges on how prepared you are, let's say. Unfortunately, there are often limited professional development opportunities focused on inclusive strategies, and many teachers, have not received adequate, for example, training in this area, which can make it challenging to adopt new methods. So that is another issue. Classroom management is also very important. You have to manage the dynamics with diverse learners, and it can include students with a wide range of abilities and behavioral needs. So teachers must develop strategies to manage these dynamics. You have to establish clear expectations, positive reinforcement, so on and so forth. Time constraints are also obstacle. Additional time is required for planning, for implementing, differentiated instruction. There might be curriculum constraints. Sometimes, these constraints can pose significant challenges because sometimes curriculums pose as standards, and you have to follow them very strictly. And also there might be some student resistance. Some students may resist collaborative learning or new teaching methods. which can be a barrier to implementing inclusive pedagogy. Also, we need parental and community support. By gaining buy-in from parents and community, you can ensure there will be, success when implementing inclusive practices. So some parents may be skeptical about the benefits of inclusive education, and educating parents about the benefits can come in handy. So by addressing all these challenges through thoughtful reflection and strategic planning, educators like you and me can work toward more effective implementation of inclusive pedagogy. So as a recap, today we talked about the points as you see on the screen: bottom-up development, which prioritizes teacher empowerment; bottom-up fosters reflection, collaboration, and inclusivity. Also, personalized, context-specific development enhances growth. Bottom-up development improves teacher practices and student engagement. And last but not least, sustained and context-specific programs improve teaching and learning at the same time. So that's about it. Thank you all for your attention and participation. I hope this presentation has provided valuable insights and practical recommendations for implementing bottom-up professional development programs. And if you have any questions, please feel free to stay for the Q&A session. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ali. A really interesting session. And I think it's great to see this kind of research going into everyday teacher education, helping really involve students and helping students feel like they're part of the classroom. And it followed on very nicely from our previous session, but also in creating that community of practice where teachers feel that they can rely upon each other, they can share their ideas. So some really, really nice points. And I'm really interested how these studies progress. We've got a couple of questions, I'm pleased to say, and loads of really positive feedback coming in the chat. So thank you very much to everyone for sharing those chats.
Thank you.
So one question we've had is about students who are maybe a little silent or reticent to get involved. What strategies would you suggest to involve quieter students in this kind of engagement?
Well, that's a very good question. It's not all about the students, it's about the teachers too. For example, in our study, we had more experienced teachers and novice teachers. So we would pair them up so they could work together and, take advantage of the more experienced teachers. So they would receive feedback or receive guidance whenever needed. As far as the students are concerned, the same thing happened. So teachers use different grouping strategies to put students in different groups, and they try to pair up like stronger students with the students who had, for example, difficulty understanding certain concepts, or they were slower at some certain areas. So by implementing different grouping strategies, we try to somehow work out around this problem. That was one of the strategies that the teachers use in the classes.
Really nice. And I think it's great when you're able to pair the younger or newer teachers with more experienced teachers. And I'm sure they've got so many great ideas to help each other. And I think that helps build that community that you were talking about.
Exactly.
Isabella has asked about how we can implement a more collaborative approach amongst all teachers. I think sometimes teachers can be a little bit reticent to share their experiences or share their resources. What suggestions do you have for Isabella about implementing this collaborative practice?
Well, the trick to this problem is creating a smaller, maybe collaborative groups or professional learning opportunities or communities within the context you're in. These groups can work independently, but within a coordinated, let's say, framework they can ensure that all teachers get the chance to engage in meaningful professional development. For example, schools can form, let's say, grade level teams, or maybe subject specific teams that meet regularly to discuss, the challenges, share best practices, and develop new instructional strategies. So this way, the professional development is more personalized in one way, and it will become more relevant because teachers are working closely with peers who face similar classroom dynamics and also challenges. And to keep this approach effective, I believe it's crucial to provide adequate support and resources. They are instrumental. This might mean, giving teachers dedicated time for collaboration, because if you don't have time for it, then when are you going to find the opportunity? So we have to designate that time for the instructors, and we have to just give them access to professional development materials and ongoing training, in facilitation, and also leadership skills, because we as instructors, we as educators also need to be good at leading our students, not only just instructing them. I mean, yes, we can have group leaders, but also from my perspective, every single teacher needs to be a leader as well. So, I mean, fostering a culture of maybe open communication and continuous feedback can also be helpful. Digital platforms can help you, and last but not least, administrative support, because if the support is not there, you cannot encourage or recognize the efforts of these collaborative efforts. So top level management and the director of the school, the administrative positions can also be very supportive in this regard.
That's brilliant, thank you. And some really nice suggestions there about helping those who have those different experiences. And another question in the chat, in the Q&A, is about if you've had any experience working with visually impaired learners and how we can support those with a visual impairment in this kind of engagement.
Let me address this question by just sharing how we integrated or how we embedded technology into our research, because technology played a big role in supporting inclusive pedagogy in our study, and it was a key player. We use various digital tools and platforms to create personalized learning experiences. For instance, we had assistive technologies like speech-to-text software that were helpful. Specifically, what we did was we integrated this speech-to-text software into some of the classroom activities that we had. For example, during lectures or discussions, students who had difficulty with traditional note-taking could use this software to convert spoken words into written text in real time. We also use this technology, I mean speech-to-text, for assignments and assessments as well. So students could dictate their responses and the software would transcribe them, which was especially beneficial for those students with motor impairments, or some students, they had learning disabilities, which made the writing challenging for them. So that is one case in point. That is one instance. Also, we use, online collaborative tools where students, could co-edit documents, for example, in real time. But the example that I can give you as far as students with disabilities and, impairment are concerned is text-to-speech software, and it made writing easy for some of them.
That's a really nice suggestion. And I think it shows just how much technology has advanced and how we can use technology to create those inclusive environments. And do you have any other examples of technological innovation that can help us foster this inclusive environment?
Yes, sure. As I told you, we use collaborative tools. It allowed for more students to become engaged. It made the lessons more interactive and flexible. One specific example that I can give you was group projects where students, could co-edit documents in real time. Like, for example, what you can do with Google Documents. And they could brainstorm ideas, using virtual whiteboards, for example, and even hold group meetings via video conferencing. So these tools enable the students who might have been shy or somehow hesitant to speak up in a traditional classroom to have, let's say, the courage to contribute more confidently in an online environment. I don't know if that is a good thing or not, because that brings up another question, which addresses like social interaction and how students cannot interact socially. But still, if you want to sort this out, there are some ways. Online collaboration is one of them. Additionally, students in our study who were absent due to, for example, illness or other reasons could still participate and keep up with group work. And they made sure that, they were a part of it no matter what. So technology helped us in a variety of ways. Not only the students, but also the instructors in their professional development, because they collected the data and they analyzed classroom data by using various software programs, and they adjusted the teaching methods accordingly. So it was a good way of monitoring their progress. For example, completion of quizzes and assignment completion and participation in real time, so to speak. So yeah, technology was a crucial component in our case.
Really, really helpful. Again, some nice examples to illustrate just what you're doing. The very final thing I'm going to ask, I think we've addressed most of the questions now, is what's next? Where can we find out what you're doing next and the results of your work and the collaborative engagement that you're doing? It sounds like you're very proactive and there's a lot more to come.
Yes, I think later on, the thing that I like most about what we did was the reflective journals, because not many teachers keep reflective journals nowadays. So maybe we can have another study and focus on just keeping reflective journals in the future and encourage, a more structured way for teachers to document their experiences and challenges, and also maybe successes, because by regularly reflecting on your practice, you can identify the areas for improvement. We had different methods like keeping journals or workshops and pair work, reflective practices. But maybe the reflective journals part was not focused on or concentrated on that much. This is where we can pick up. We can pick up where we left off at maybe another study where teachers can focus on keeping journals and facilitate, deeper insights and share their findings with their peers. So maybe by just getting prepared like this, you can have or get better insights into what you're doing and how you can address the challenges you face, and making your context more inclusive as far as inclusive pedagogy is concerned.
Yeah, I think a really nice idea, and I think helping teachers foster their own professional development. Again, we've got lots of people in the chat giving some, really positive feedback on this. So thank you very much, Ali.
Thank you very much, Ben.
Thank you for the participant. Thank you for everyone for commenting in the chat. Ali, once again, thank you a really informative session.
It was a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Break now, so 15-minute break, and then we'll be back with Lucy Shakespeare, who'll be talking about well-being in teacher education. So really continuing this lovely thread about supportive teacher communities and practices. So thanks again, and we look forward to hearing more about your fantastic research, Ali, in the future. Thank
you very much. Much obliged. Have a good day and night, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.